Gardner Gossip's canvas, yes, I mean, you've got some extremely dangerous individuals like Bob Mueller of the FBI. You've got very well-respected people like Tom Slab Murphy, Chief of Staff of the IRA. And yes, you have got buffoons on there, and you have got people who are carpetbaggers who just want to try to make their name and try to earn money out of the tragedy of the Gardner heist.
It's interested in how many of these big personalities for these big faces actually intertwined and cross paths in life. Like Prince Waleed actually owns the paper that Bob Mashberg works for. Tom Mashberg was taking on the ride with Billy Youngworth's people, and it became one of the biggest stories of Boston's history.
Well, exactly, yes. And to be honest with you, that's the irony of it, yes. Prince Waleed owns the Boston Herald. Tom Mashberg works for the Boston Herald. Now, on the subject of Billy Youngworth, at some stage, no one actually knows the truth. However, at the time, if the FBI had called his bluff and said, okay, we'll give you immunity, you produce these paintings and we'll give you immunity. But the FBI didn't want to do that. The FBI, even if he did have access to the paintings, the FBI didn't want to do that. And the FBI conspired to actually make false allegations against Billy Youngworth and incarcerated him for 3 years. That is disgusting. And so, to be honest with you,
they made his life miserable. They tried to break him, and they never ever broke him.
Well, exactly.
They never changed his story.
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, I think the guy's got brass balls. The guy has got balls of steel. For 3 years, he wouldn't say nothing. 5 years, however long it was, he wouldn't be broken by those guys. And so at the end of the day, I've got respect for Billy Youngworth. To be honest, I don't know the guy personally, but from what he has actually been through, I've got nothing but respect and admiration for him. Also Miles Connor. Miles Connor is a very colourful guy, super intelligent guy. But to be honest with you, these guys, they've given up their life of crime, contrary to what people actually say. And actually, all they want to actually try to do now is have a peaceful life and try to do the right thing. The problem is that people don't want them to do the right thing.
But unfortunately, the leads they offered, all they wanted was immunity, total immunity, and a reward. And they were turned down. They were denied.
Well, the reason...
That storybook, if they thought they were bluffing, instead of it being closed, the book remains open.
Of course the book's open. The book will always remain open. The book will always remain open.
So I think they're the most very important parts of the painting.
Definitely. I mean, they are definitely very important parts of the painting. The book will always remain open, and the only way to recover the Gardner art is when the feds and the authorities and the US attorney in Boston actually start playing ball. Because the irony of this situation, right, it's like the foxes are guarding the hen house. Bad guys are trying to be truthful. Bad guys are trying to be sincere. Bad guys are offering the stuff back. It's the supposed good guys who are the bad guys in this because they won't make any deals. Well, it's fine. Okay, I understand they're not meant to make any deals, but what annoys me is they try to hide behind the cloak of respectability. We're respectful guys. We're the Gardner Museum. We're the FBI and all that carry on. We're fine. You won't make no deals. You want it back on your terms. We'll say so. But don't come out with the bullshit that we might give you immunity. We've got a reward. Well, where is this reward? It's bullshit. Anthony Amore's a good guy. He's a sincere, genuine guy.
On the canvas.
He's also on the canvas.
And was sport enough to pose for it.
And Anthony Amore, I've got a lot of admiration, a lot of time for him. I think he's a genuine, nice guy. But I think in this particular case, that it's not within his gift to be able to recover the Gardner art and to pay the reward. It really isn't. If it was in his gift to do that, he would do it in a heartbeat. He genuinely would, because he's a genuine guy. However, until such time as they can prove to the contrary, the reward is bullshit. Where is the $5 million? There's no $5 million. That the Gardner Museum has never had the intentions of paying one dime from day one. And all it has done is the only reason they say the $5 million is just a ruse. It's just to get people to give information. Now let me tell you about rewards. Rewards are offered, but they're almost every time impossible to collect, because what happens is no one person has all the information. Lots of people have little bits of information that they give to law enforcement, and they piece it together and they make a recovery. They then don't go back to the people and say, your bit of information is 5%, here's 5% of the reward. Your information was 20%, so here's 20% of the reward. I tell you what they give nothing. And they make excuses. Then if the person who gave the information complains, they then threaten them. If you complain about not getting any reward for your information, we're going to expose you as an informant. So come on, I mean, we're going to be truthful now. And all these years we skirt around it and we try to say nice things and all this carry on. It's bullshit. All of it's bullshit. 3 years ago I said double the reward from 5 million to 10 million. But no, all of a sudden they won't double the reward. Right? And the reward's been $5 million since the year 2000. It's been 9 years at $5 million and there's been no takers. And the reason there's no takers for this, there's two that have got this are not stupid. They are very clever people. And from what has been said, they do not believe one word of it, and they will never, ever put their head above the parapet until they feel it's safe to do so. So, yes, I mean, we want the Gardner art back, and we don't care that if people earn money out of it. What we want to do is get the Gardner art back. That's the main thing, right? But up until now, the bad guys are bad guys, and the so-called good guys, they are dishonest. It's all been dishonest the whole way through. And this is not a slur on the Gardner Museum. It's not a slur on anyone. The Gardner Museum are told what to do by the FBI. And if they don't do what they are told, they will get in serious trouble. So when they say there's a $5 million reward, you'd have to not only recover the Gardner art, you'd have to tell them where Whitey Bulger is, where Osama bin Laden is, and you'd have to tell them, you'd have to solve the economy. In other words, there's always too many hoops to go through. $5 million my arse. There's not $5 available for the Gardner art. And anyone who thinks there is, at this point in time, is naive. But we could have a change of heart. We've got a new US attorney who's going to be appointed, Carmen Ortiz, in Boston. If she wants to come out with an immunity agreement and post it up on the internet, that's a public immunity agreement to hand back the art. And if the Gardner Museum wants to get $5 million and say, look, it's in this bank account and it's waiting to be paid, then fine, we can then maybe have a deal. And the FBI say that because the case is so old, anyone handing back the art, we will step aside and allow Anthony Amore and the Gardner Museum to make a private recovery and we won't get involved. Fine. If they won't do that, I'm not having a go at them for that, but just be truthful. Let's just be truthful about this. At the end of the day, the reason is because the FBI and the Gardner Museum, the US attorney have got that slender hope that someone's going to come forward and they can sting them and arrest them and all this carry on. But I tell you now, if someone comes forward with several works of art from the Gardner Museum and they get arrested and indicted, I guarantee the guys with the rest of the Gardner art will burn it and destroy it, and they'll film it and stick it up on YouTube just to spite those people. So what my thing is, be very, very careful, and be careful what you wish for. It's all right the FBI wanting to wish for arrests in the Gardner case, but you'd make a few arrests over a few of the pieces, and then what would happen would be the rest of the stuff would be buried so deep you would never see it again.
Talk to me about one special character that's talking to Oliver.
One special character talking to Oliver, Fagin. Well, Fagin, my boy, you see, in this life, one thing counts. In the bank, large amounts. I'm afraid these don't grow on trees. You've got to pick a pocket or two. You see, I've called my son Oliver because I've been fascinated by the film with Ron Moody, the musical. And in some ways, yeah, I regard myself as a Fagin character. Not that I would send Oliver out to do crime. I've done the crime, so he doesn't have to do that. But yes, I mean, there is a connection there. And there's also an ethereal connection there with an older person corrupting a younger person, with government corrupting the people. And there's so many mixed messages there. But I think actually the character Ron Moody portrays in Oliver Fagin, and the makeup he's got on with the crooked nose and with that kind of look and with that kind of money. You want money? Of course we want money. Right? That kind of character, I think, personifies everything. It personifies the Gardner heist. Because at the end of the day, if people are honest, we can all say we love the art, but it's the $5 million or the art's worth $200 million. That's what most of the public are interested in. You know, I mean, Fagin is a wonderful character from history. Charles Dickens, when he wrote him, I mean, he wrote Fagin is actually a metaphor. It's a metaphor for the government. It's a metaphor for adults corrupting children. It's a metaphor for crime. It's a metaphor for capitalism. that Fagin can be the CEO of a big company and the Oliver character can be the workers of that company who get exploited. You know, so to be honest, there's on so many different levels, and it's like everything with the Gardner gossips. It's going to portray the Gardner heist in a way that's never been portrayed before.
And then the way all the art lovers are, the children in the Gardner caper actually corrupts in a hypnotic way, because people have been looking for that reward. Treasure hunters, investigators, multiple suspects, people who buy the books, people who write the books, the documentarians. We're all fascinated by this.
Everyone's
and the mumblings and the gossips and the little murmurs from dark corners of the art world.
Exactly, and to be honest with you, the thing that makes me so attracted to this project is not only the quality of the product at the end of it, this incredible work of art produced by Charlie Sabba, but we've had the Gardner art heist story told in 1,000 different ways, yet it's never been told through art, and that's what we're talking. So this time, with the actual Gardner art heist is going to be told through the paintbrush of Charlie Sabba, and the end result will be this huge, iconic. I mean, stand on me. In years to come, Gardner Gossips will be viewed as such a famous painting that reflects the Gardner art heist, and that is what I want to try and get across to people. And